Welcome back to Remnant. Tonight's story takes us deep into the forests of Washington State, where a family of 5 claimed they encountered something that would change their lives forever. What began as an ordinary camping trip soon became a nightmare involving a missing child, strange voices, and a presence that refused to leave. So dim the lights, get comfortable, and prepare yourself. This is The Possession in Washington State. Washington State is famous for its towering forests, endless mountains, and isolated wilderness. But among the trees are places so remote that even locals avoid them after dark. In the fall of 2018, the Harper family decided to spend a weekend camping deep within one of these forests. Michael Harper, his wife Sarah, and their 3 children, Ethan, Lily, and 7-year-old Noah, were looking forward to a peaceful escape from everyday life. The first day went exactly as planned. They hiked through wooded trails. They cooked dinner over a campfire. And they spent the evening sharing stories beneath a sky filled with stars. Everything felt normal. Until the second night. Shortly after midnight, Sarah woke up and noticed something strange. Noah's sleeping bag was empty. At first she assumed he had gone outside. But after several minutes, he still hadn't returned. Panic quickly spread through the campsite. The family grabbed flashlights and began searching the surrounding woods. They shouted Noah's name repeatedly. But there was no response. Then Michael spotted something in the distance. A small figure standing among the trees. Nearly 100 yards away. Motionless. Silent. Watching. As the family approached, they realized it was Noah. He wasn't crying. He wasn't scared. He wasn't even moving. He simply stood there staring into the darkness. When Sarah called his name, he didn't answer. When Michael shook his shoulders, he barely reacted. His skin felt unnaturally cold. The family rushed him back to the campsite. Eventually he fell asleep. The next morning, Noah claimed he couldn't remember leaving the tent. He couldn't remember standing in the forest. And he couldn't remember being found. Believing it had been a strange case of sleepwalking, the Harpers packed their belongings and returned home. They had no idea that the real nightmare was about to begin. 3 nights later, Sarah woke up at exactly 3:17 a.m. She heard footsteps moving slowly through the hallway. Back and forth. Back and forth. Assuming Noah was sleepwalking again, she walked to his room. But when she opened the door, Noah was asleep in bed. The footsteps continued. Yet nobody was there. The strange incidents became more frequent. Noah stopped playing with his siblings. He spent hours staring into empty corners of rooms. Sometimes he whispered quietly to someone nobody else could see. Whenever his parents asked who he was talking to, he always gave the same answer. "He doesn't want me to tell you." The response chilled them every time. One evening, Lily came running downstairs in tears. She claimed Noah had been standing outside her bedroom door for nearly half an hour. He hadn't spoken. He hadn't moved. He had simply stood there staring directly at her. When Michael confronted Noah, the boy seemed confused. He insisted he had never left his room. Concerned about their son's behavior, Michael installed security cameras throughout the house. At first, nothing unusual appeared. Then came the footage from 3:17 a.m. The camera in the living room captured Noah walking slowly into the room. He stopped in front of a blank wall. For several minutes he remained completely still. Then his head tilted upward. Farther. And farther. At an angle that looked painfully unnatural. The footage remained silent for several seconds. Then a voice appeared on the recording. A deep, distorted voice. Not Noah's. Not Michael's. Not anyone in the house. The voice spoke only 3 words. "Let me stay." The family watched the footage repeatedly. Each time it left them more disturbed. Sarah later described the voice as sounding ancient. As though multiple people were speaking at once. The Harpers became convinced that something was wrong. Something they couldn't explain. Over the following weeks, Noah's condition worsened. He sometimes spoke in voices that sounded older than his own. He knew details about people he had never met. Private details. Personal secrets. Information he should never have known. Most disturbing of all, he began drawing the same figure over and over again. A tall shadow standing among trees. With hollow eyes. Watching. Waiting. Always watching. Desperate for answers, the family contacted a local paranormal investigator. After reviewing the footage and interviewing Noah, the investigator became visibly uncomfortable. He believed the child had encountered something during the camping trip. Something that attached itself to him. Something that followed him home. The investigator reportedly refused to remain inside the house after sunset. He never explained why. The final incident occurred on November 12th. At exactly 3:17 a.m. Every light inside the house suddenly went out. The family awoke to loud banging noises echoing throughout the home. Doors slammed violently. Windows rattled. Objects crashed to the floor. And somewhere upstairs, Noah was laughing. Michael rushed toward his son's bedroom. As he opened the door, he froze. Noah was sitting upright in bed. Perfectly still. Smiling in complete darkness. Then the boy slowly turned his head toward him. And spoke. But the voice that emerged wasn't Noah's. It was the same voice from the recording. Cold. Inhuman. The voice said, "You should have left me in the woods. 2 weeks later, the Harper family abandoned the house. They moved to another state and rarely discussed the events again. According to relatives, Noah eventually returned to normal. But even years later, one subject remains forbidden: the camping trip. Whenever someone mentions it, Noah immediately becomes silent and changes the subject, as if he remembers something he wishes he could forget. Were the Harpers victims of fear and coincidence? Did Noah suffer from a condition nobody understood? Or did something truly emerge from the forests of Washington state and follow him home? Some questions may never be answered. And perhaps some answers are better left buried. What do you think happened that night in the woods? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Remnant for more disturbing encounters, unsolved mysteries, and unexplained events from around the world. Until next time, some things disappear, but some things leave behind a remnant. Good night.